Well, let me ask you this. Will admissions offers be rescinded or any disciplinary action be taken against students or applicants who say, from the river to the sea or Intifada, advocating for the murder of Jews?
As I've said, that type of hateful, reckless, offensive speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Claudine Gay's recent resignation as Harvard president. It's quite a sensitive area, but we are going to touch on it. You know, Claudine Gay recently became the first female black president of Harvard University, and she topped that by becoming the second female president of Harvard University. But it's quite unfortunate she just resigned, making her the shortest serving president for just 6 months.
The Supreme Court's decision on college and university admissions will change how we pursue the educational benefits of diversity, but our commitment to that work remains steadfast.
Before I continue this video, guys, once again, my name is Alexander Nyako. You can just call me SRC, and you are welcome to SRC TV. If today is your first time here, kindly do also subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. So Claudine Gay's recent resignation were basically factored on two things, right? So first, allegations of plagiarism, and also the backlash she received over some responses she gave on campus anti-Semitism. But in today's video, I'm not going to really give detailed explanation on what really happened. I've actually done my research, and you know, I've discovered 5 top trending videos with regards to Claudine Gay's resignation. Now these videos contains a whole lot as to main reasons why she actually resigned. Now some are saying they are not even based on these two things I stated earlier. Now there is more in-depth to this particular reason, so I'm going to play it to you. Right from races to so many stuff, I'm going to play them to you, and then after that, guys, you can just make an informed decision on what you really think really actually transpired, and you can go to the comment section and share with us, share with the community. Let us also know what you have to say about this whole Claudine Gay's issue. So video number 5, let's watch this.
Harvard just got their first black president in history, and the world, America, already calling for her resignation. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is that stuff I'll be talking about. Everybody be like, oh, you go to Harvard. What's it like? What's it like? What's it like? Why are you even asking me what it's like? You ain't read a book? Or you ain't been black in America? Or you ain't got no black friends? Or you ain't got no black cousins? Or you never seen nothing before? You never watched a movie? You never watched a comedy sketch? You never just seen nothing? You never listened to a Kanye song? Like, you know what I'm saying? Any rap song for that matter? Anything? Have you heard anything? Because what it means to be black at Harvard is what it means to be black in America. Bro, I'm just a student. I pay to go to the school. You got a woman who's getting paid to be there and even want her there. So why do y'all think that they're going to want me there? That's a good question, ain't it? Look, y'all. I done experienced so much craziness. You know, sometimes when you going through something, you don't really know what you're going through till afterward. I think this kind of one of them things for me. Like, I don't really even know what this is. You feel me? All the way. I just be reading James Baldwin, reading Bell Hooks, listening to Brother Cornel West. You know what I'm saying? Reading the teachings of Jesus. And I be like, dang, life not supposed to be like this, huh? I'm not supposed to go to class and be the only black person, right? That is not why Martin Luther King died. I'm just saying that's the truth. Like, he ain't die for that. So I'm confused. Like, what we doing? But what I'm supposed to do, I'm finna graduate. You know what I'm saying? I got a good life. You know what I mean? I have a phenomenal woman. I got good grades, kinda. Like, what up? I'm good. But I'm just saying, y'all out here, y'all see the way they treating this black woman on national television on a daily basis. Then you got the Penn president who done went on ahead and resigned because for whatever reasons, I won't try to assume the reason that this woman resigned, but I'm sad for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm sad with the people. I'm sad about all the stuff because it seemed just like, you know, if you messing with the wrong folks, you know what I'm saying, you just out of luck. And I'm sad about that. You know, I got to be real and say that's what made me sad, y'all. Regardless of what's going on at the school or at this school or at that school, your school, my school, I'm rocking with President Gay, man. I'm rocking with Claudine Gay. Man, that's my dog, man. I ain't, feel me? Like, and I hope she don't go like that. I hope she stay down, stand up for herself, for the people. and don't go like that, man. When I say that, I just mean I want her to stay, because, you know, they trying to get her up out of there. But we need
Harvard University President Claudine Gay has received the unanimous support of the school's governing board. The school was under intense pressure to fire its first black president, but it wasn't for the reasons we were told. Let's be clear, some of the people leading the charge are not focused on anti-Semitism, they're focused on race. Claudine Gay just became president of Harvard 3 months ago, but in the past few days she came under attack from a deliberate pressure campaign to drive her out of office because of ill-advised testimony she gave to a House committee last week. One of those campaigners is Elise Stefanik, the opportunistic Republican congresswoman from New York who claimed to be the most outraged at last week's hearing. But this week, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin exposed her hypocrisy.
Somebody like Elise Stefanik has no problem going after Ivy League presidents. What about Donald Trump?
Where was Elise Stefanik during the Trump years when anti-Semitism, hate crimes, racism, and bigotry all began to rise? Did Elise Stefanik call for Donald Trump's resignation when he said there were very fine people on both sides in Charlottesville? Did Elise Stefanik call for Trump's resignation when he tweeted a critical post about Hillary Clinton with a Star of David over a pile of cash in his 2016 campaign? Did Elise Stefanik call for Trump's resignation when he said that Jews who support Democrats are disloyal to Israel? Did Elise Stefanik call for Trump's resignation when he blamed the victims at the Tree of Life synagogue for not protecting themselves from the anti-Semitic hate crime that killed 11 people? Did Elise Stefanik call for Trump's resignation when he told a Jewish group,
"You're not going to support me because I don't want your money"?
Did Elise Stefanik even call for her colleague Kevin McCarthy's resignation when he claimed that Jewish billionaires George Soros, Tom Steyer, and Mike Bloomberg were trying to buy our elections? And she's a Harvard grad who's probably a little bit bitter that Harvard removed her from a prestigious advisory committee after she facilitated Trump's January 6th coup attempt by refusing to certify President Biden's election. But that's another story. We also have to look at Chris Ruffo, the anti-black, anti-LGBTQ, Fox News favorite, far-right conservative Republican who is leading the online campaign to demonize Claudine Gay. Ruffo, who did not graduate from Harvard College or receive a Harvard PhD, but attended a Harvard Extension School program, wants to make an example out of President Gay so he can attack critical race theory and DEI policies that are oppressing straight white men like him. Claudine Gay graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy, received a BA from Stanford, won the prize for best undergraduate thesis in economics, earned a PhD from Harvard, won another prize for the best dissertation in political science, became a professor at Stanford, then a professor at Harvard, then dean of social science at Harvard, then dean of faculty at Harvard, and finally became president of Harvard. But the white guy who attended the extension school thinks she only got her job because of DEI. There have been 30 Harvard presidents in its 387-year history. Several, like Derek Bach, Abbott Lowell, and Charles Eliot, did not have a PhD, but they were white guys, so they had to be qualified, even though women and people of color were not eligible to be considered for centuries. We can debate whether a PhD is even necessary to be a college president, but Claudine Gay has one from Harvard, and when you're black, you have to be twice as good to get half as far. Just look at how Barack Obama had to be president of a Harvard Law Review, a constitutional law professor, a best-selling author, and a United States senator just to be taken seriously, while Trump had to host a reality show. And consider the resentment that followed. How dare this black man be president of our country? How dare this black woman be president of our nation's most prestigious university? The point is, this is not about Israel. It's not about Harvard. It's not even about Claudine Gay. It's about a long-term right-wing strategy to make America great again by undermining education itself as elitist and turning back the clock on black people, women, LGBTQ people, and anyone who doesn't fit their narrow vision of America. That's why this is not the time for progressives to be divided and conquered. The Nazis and Klansmen who enable the right-wing politicians hate all of us, whether you're black, Hispanic, Asian, Jewish, Muslim, Israeli, Palestinian, immigrant, LGBTQ, or a woman with the audacity to want to control her own body. So no, this is not the time to cower in fear. It's time to wake up and fight back for justice.
It is with a heavy heart but a deep love of Harvard that I will be stepping down. Claudine Gay is resigning from her presidency of Harvard University. Let's talk about it. I said on this app, I don't know, about 10 days ago, that Claudine Gay would resign within a month. That was not a hard prediction to make. Being president of a university, I've known a few, talked to a few, is hard work. Being president of the most visible university in the United States is super hard. And regardless of where you're president, you have to be able to do two things well. One, manage scandal, institutional scandal, which is inevitable. And two, manage your own personal affairs so you don't become a scandal. Claudine Gay could not do either of those well. She was not up to the task of being Harvard's president. First, there was the institutional scandal of anti-Semitism on Harvard's campus, which she mismanaged. And had she done that, only that, she probably would still be president. But added on top of that was the real issue of her personal scandal. She was never a real world-renowned scholar, which almost all presidents from Harvard and elite institutions are. And then when you started to scratch the surface of her scholarship, you found some major problems. I note that not so long ago, the same thing happened at Stanford with a world-renowned scholar, President then Mark Tessier-Levine, who had fudged some of his papers or was co-author on some papers that had to be retracted. He had to go. So it's not surprising that Claudine Gay had to go. Because of those two strikes, she lost confidence of the board. She lost confidence of donors. She could no longer do her job effectively. And we'll see what happens to the next person, because it is undeniably true that being a university president is a super hard job.
The racist right wing may have forced Harvard President Claudine Gay to resign, but they will never silence pro-Palestine activists. Gay had been receiving racist and misogynistic attacks from the right wing since the very beginning of her presidency. These are representative of a white supremacist system that constantly seeks to demean and degrade people based on who they are, especially when it comes to black people in this nation. It may even remind folks of the racism and misogyny they have faced in their own lives, whether in the workplace, school, or online. The right-wing and pro-Israel forces hid behind claims of plagiarism and academic dishonesty for why Claudine Gay should step down. However, the real reason is that these racists believe she did not go far enough in repressing pro-Palestine organizers on campus. First and foremost, Harvard University is a corporation, and it is a cornerstone of the tiny elite class that rules this country. Harvard's administration has the same interest as the rich and powerful in limiting the freedom of speech of those who rightfully and justly speak out against the genocide of Palestinians. Undoubtedly, the next president of the university will be an even more staunch Zionist and have a mandate from the corporation to further demonize us organizers. We refuse to capitulate to the university's fear and intimidation tactics. We have a right and duty to speak out against injustice wherever it may be. We will never let their threats deter us from our solidarity with the people of Palestine. As the right-wing attacks ramp up, it is simply a reflection of their own fear that the people of the world stand with Palestine and will continue to organize, mobilize, and rally as Palestinians march towards liberation.
Here's what you need to know about the Claudine Gay plagiarism scandal. It's bullshit. Let me explain. Christopher Rufo, he's the guy that started the critical race theory panic. This is his thing. So he dropped this Twitter thread in which he claimed to prove that Claudine Gay had plagiarized her thesis while she was studying for a PhD at Harvard. This supposed bombshell hinges on two claims. First is that Claudine Gay plagiarized her thesis advisor. Here's the thing. Your thesis advisor is your co-author, not some source you found on the internet. Plagiarism is passing off someone else's work as your own work. A thesis advisor knows the difference between their own work and their students' work. That's kind of their job. And there's inevitably a lot of overlap between the professor's work and the student's work. That's the nature of the advisor-advisee relationship. Claudine Gay's thesis advisor, Gary King, knew full well which parts of Claudine Gay's thesis were derived from his work. There is no plausible way that Claudine Gay tried to pass off her thesis advisor's work as her own. Like, it's just stupid. Now, if you point this out to somebody who's already made up their mind that Claudine Gay is a plagiarist, they will immediately pivot to the second claim, which I'll get to in just a second. But first, consider the pivot, because it gives away the whole game. When you point out how ridiculous it is to claim that Claudine Gay plagiarized her thesis advisor on her thesis, I haven't seen anybody try to defend that claim. They just pivot to the other one. What does that tell you? They didn't believe the first claim. they don't believe the second one either. That's not the point. The point is to stack up as many bullshit claims as they can get away with, because most people haven't done grad level writing. They don't have the context to understand the stupidity of the claim. Anyway, the second claim is also from the thesis. Claudine Gay cites some sources to describe the methods that they use as context for her own work. In the course of doing that, she repeats some of the original source verbiage, close to word for word. And of course, Rufo puts the two pieces of text side by side and says, "Look, she didn't cite her source." The fact that there is a citation at the beginning of the paragraph notwithstanding. If you know anybody that's done academic writing, ask them about writing the methods section. That's where you describe the technical details of the research that you did. Here's the thing about highly technical writing. You're trying to describe a set of very specific concepts, a lot of times using terminology that nobody outside your field understands. The number of ways that you can phrase a piece of technical writing and have it still make sense and be accurate is generally pretty small. One of the lines that Rufo highlighted was using 1987 survey data, which is a technical description of a source of data that was used to do some analysis. And as part of Rufo's little op, he pointed out that the original text said using 1987 national sample survey data, and says, "Oh, look, these are basically the same," which is true, but think about this for a second. How many ways can you rephrase that? The study used survey data from 1987. You can't change 1987, right? Because then it wouldn't be accurate. It was survey data, so what are you going to change it to something else? It doesn't work because it's specific, and it's important to convey the specifics in your academic writing. Besides, it's the methods section of the paper, which is not the part that is what you're actually trying to contribute with your research. That comes in the results and conclusions, and arguably also the introduction, not in the methods. The point of the methods is to give a high-level overview of how you got the results you did. Obviously, you include citations so that if someone's reading your paper and they want to know the details of your methods, they look up your citation. Nobody reading that paper is thinking, "Oh, this is what Claudine Gay had to say." No, that's, again, not how it works. So that leads to the, what they think of as their trump card, which is the APA citation guidelines, which clearly say you have to put quoted text in quotes. And that is true. It's true now. It was not true in 1987. You see, 1987, the internet was just getting started, meaning this kind of plagiarism that, academics and all teachers really have to deal with today, it wasn't as big of a thing back then. The APA citation guidelines were developed as kind of a result of the ubiquity of the internet. Lots more opportunities to plagiarize. So my question to Chris Rufo is, could you please show me the citation guidelines that were applicable at Harvard in the political science department in 1997, because those are the citation guidelines that Claudine Gay was supposed to follow, and show me where in those guidelines, where did Claudine Gay not follow those guidelines? Obviously, I'm not going to get an answer, right? Like I said, the entire thing is bullshit. But, and this may or may not surprise you, that hasn't stopped a huge number of people from taking Chris Rufo's claims at face value. They just assume Claudine Gay must have plagiarized her thesis. You got these two pieces of text and they look pretty similar, and they're waiving the APA citation guidelines from 20 years after the fact in your face, and it can look like a convincing case till you poke at it a bit and it all falls apart, but nobody bothers to poke at it. Can you guess why? A lot of the people who are kind of assuming this is true, they have internalized biases about, well, particularly black folks that kind of make them think, oh, well, I guess that's not very surprising. I mean, she is a black woman, president of Harvard. She must have gotten there due to the color of her skin. You know, it's not like she could have come by a PhD honestly. And, you know, to be frank, the color of Claudine Gay's skin is important to her being Harvard president. Harvard's been around for what, 500 years, and she's the first black president? Like, that's valuable to Harvard. And this, like, she's only published 12 papers. College presidents don't publish papers. They're administrators. So yeah, like, this whole op just really annoys me because it's so stupid. But what really bothers me is how many people are just sort of like, oh, well, that makes sense, and not realizing that they just got played by Chris Rufo and their own internalized bias.
Alright guys, so there you have it. That's a wrap up of it. What do you have to say about this whole Claudine Gay issue? You can just go to the comment section and let me know your view on this whole matter. And yes, I mean, this is what people are saying all over the world. These are actually my top 5 videos that I picked up, and definitely you also would have some videos that we are also watching. So just come to the comment section and let's know what you have to say about it. Do you think it was right for Claudine Gay to resign? Was it fair? I mean, what do you have to say about that? So guys, once again, I'm Alexander Nyakun. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do what to subscribe to the channel and just be patient as we drop more videos for you. So till we meet again guys, bye for now.